Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In today's session, we are learning another new algorithm. So this algorithm will help us to remove duplicate elements from an ordered array. Alright, so let us quickly go ahead and see what is the problem statements. The problem statement tells us that remove all the duplicates from an ordered array and construct an array accordingly. Given a sorted array, we should remove all the duplicates from the array such that each element appears only once and the array should be ordered after removing the duplicate elements. So, which means that suppose I have values, I will take 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. In this way, if I have an array, then my output should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when I'm removing the duplicate element, the excess has to be removed, but the single value should be present. It doesn't mean that I'm going to remove all the elements. All right. Now, there are two ways to do that. First method is using a temporary array. We will use another temporary array and then we will remove the duplicate element. This particular algorithm we will see today. And there is another method without using the temporary array. So that we will see in the next session. So let us go ahead and see how we can remove the duplicate elements from an array using a temporary array. All right. So how does the logic works here is, first let me explain you the logic. Let me take the array that is 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 itself. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another variable, another temporary array where I'm going to store only the proper arrays, which means to say that first I will take the value I over here and j is going to be over here. Next, I will compare I with I plus 1. If these both are equal, which means they are same element, then I'm simply going to increment the I value. Okay, and once again, I'm going to compare these two, that is I and I plus 1. The moment I find that I as well as I plus 1 are not similar, then I'm going to store the value of I in j. All right, next, once again, I'm going to continue. I will increment the I value here and then I will compare I and I plus 1. Here also, what is going to happen? I and I plus are not same, hence I'm going to store the value of I. Increment the I, compare with I plus 1, but here they are equal. All right, so if it is equal, we are not going to copy into our temporary array. Now, this is our temporary array. If it is equal, we will not copy, remember. If it is equal, we will simply increment the I value and compare it to I plus 1. Here also it is equal, so we are not going to copy it to our temporary array, simply increment the I value. Next, once again, compare it with I plus 1. In this case, they are not equal, hence I will copy the value of I here and increment the I value. Once again, I'm comparing it with the next value and they are same. Hence, I'm not going to increment. And remember, we will stop the algorithm here. And also, because we do not have I plus 1, we do not have any I plus 1. Hence, I'm only going to iterate up till n minus 2. Because we are anyways comparing here, last two elements. So once this is done, always we should copy the last element into our array. So 4 is going to be copied over here. This is how this algorithm works. So as you can see, we have successfully deleted the duplicate elements. So let us go ahead and see the algorithm for this. So first, so ARR is our array and N is the value of our number of elements. So we are declaring the array, we are declaring a temporary array, N is the number of elements, I and J are the counters which we are going to see. And we will read the N elements into the array, initialize I and J value to 0. So that is what I said. If at all I am reading the value, I'm going to initialize I and my temporary variables value to 0. Initially it is 0. For I is equal to 0 to n minus 2. Remember, we want only up till n minus 2. That is, I'm going to come only up till here because I'm anyways comparing it with the I plus 1 and I do not want to reach over here because I do not have I plus 1 over here. That is the reason one element less I'm going to compare. Then after that, I'm going to compare. If ith element is not equal to I plus 1, then I'm going to store that in temporary variable. That is, whenever I'm comparing, if I value is not equal to I plus 1 value, then the I value is going to be stored in my temporary variable, and then I'm also going to increment the j value, of course, because the next value I want to store here, isn't it? If they are equal, then I will simply increment only the, so as you can see, if it is equal, then I'm going to simply increment the j value only. So once after that, store the last. Once I am done with that, okay, so this I have shown you. So first I will compare, this is not equal, hence I'm going to store. Next I will compare I and I plus 1, and then it is equal, hence I'm not going to store it in temporary. Next I will compare here, these are not equal, hence I'm going to store the value of array in the temporary variable and increment the value of j. I value is going to get incremented. I and I plus we are going to compare. They are equal. Hence, I'm not going to store it here. And the last element, I have to store it in j. So that is what we are saying. Store the last value of array in temp. So temp of j is equal to array of n minus 1. So this last value, I'm going to anyway store it here. And then I'll increment the value to j is equal to j plus 1. Now copy the, so once we are done with removing all the elements, what we want to do is we want to bring back all the elements back to the array. So what we are doing, copy the elements from temp to array. So as you can see here, I will use a for loop. So for I is equal to j minus 1. So remember, j we had incremented up till here. So we want j minus 1. I am going to take a for loop and copy all the contents of my array into temp. Fine, which means I am only changing the first three elements. If you remember, this is going to remain same, but we are only concerned about these elements. Okay, and then print the final array from I is equal to 0 to j minus 1, because j minus 1 is going to be my array size. Now it has been reduced to this. We are least bothered about all this. We are overwriting it, and hence we are only concentrating on this particular array. That is the reason. Understood? So that's all in this particular session, students. I hope it is clear. In the next session, we will discuss, if at all I have to remove the duplicate elements without using a temporary array, what logic we can use is what we will see. All right. So thank you for watching. Keep learning.